Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T. Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T. Miss T. Miss T.
Miss T.
Can't wait for you to meet Miss T. She is the T in T.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, and I got something good for you today. I enjoy dreaming. I like dreaming bigger. I like dreaming about things that look impossible, but, well, technically I don't think anything's impossible. I think there's always a way to do something remarkable, but I enjoy dreaming bigger. Now, I will offer that I didn't always enjoy that because I grew up, you know, in a certain kind of way of poverty, and to dream was not a good idea because you didn't have the resources to get to the things that you were dreaming. So I was always taught to, you know, stay in your box or stay in the confines of what you could afford. I was taught to never think or dream or goal outside of what you have the means for. And so I grew, you know, up for a long time, even into adulthood, with that mindset. And then I started one of my companies, and I positioned myself in front of a mentor. This guy was doing some real estate stuff, and the whole city was talking about him. And I said, okay, well, you know, let me get a meeting, because I understand the importance of proper mentorship, especially with someone that it's ahead of that, they're ahead on the path. And so having a meeting with them sometimes could give you just the words you need to propel you ahead on your path. And so I fight to get a meeting with this guy. And I'm sitting in front of him and I'm telling him all my goals and all my stuff. And, you know, it was all stuff that I could do eventually. None of it was stuff that was just like, wow, that's magnificent and that's going to take a miracle, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But I'm telling him my list of stuff, and he leans back on his seat, puts his head, you know, his hands like this, and he's just kind of listening to me, you know, with this look on his face. And I couldn't tell, was he thinking about like how to help me? Was he thinking about, so he leans back and he puts his, you know, his hands up here, and he's just relaxing in his seat. And I'm looking at the look on his face, and I'm trying to figure out, you know, is he thinking about ways to help me with some of the stuff I'm saying? Like I couldn't quite tell what he was thinking until he opened his mouth and said, okay, hold on. Because I'm just going on and on and on, right? I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. He says, hold on. He says, you know what? I have to stop you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I got my pen ready. I'm ready to write down the thing that he's about to tell me, right? And he says, you are not dreaming big enough. And when he said that to me, my first response was I was fighting, you know, being offended with him. I still needed to receive from him. So I knew that I couldn't be fully disappointed or offended or angry with him. But he said that thing to me, and I told myself, okay, if this is the takeaway from the meeting, take that away, T, and do something with that. And so I did. I wrote it down, dream bigger. And that's literally all I wrote down. And I remember going home that day, you know, I had a church service, and I went to the church service, and an interesting thing happened. I kept hearing the same thing. You know, the people are not dreaming big enough. They're settling for less. And so now this reoccurring message is presenting itself in my life. Like it's reoccurring. I'm going everywhere. And so finally, you know, I'm a praying woman. I said, okay, look, God, I clearly hear the message. And I asked one question. Can you help me dream bigger? And I left it at that. Can you help me dream bigger? And then I realized I got a mandate to dream bigger. And a mandate is that command that no matter what, you must do this thing. And that really happened for me in 2014, 2015. I had a mandate to dream bigger. I wasn't dreaming big enough for the potential that I had in me, for the multitude of opportunities that would find their way to me. And if I didn't stretch, I wouldn't be able to grow to the place where I could really help people, which has really always been my goal, is to help a lot of people. And so anyhow, when I started to realize, okay, I must do this thing, I must stretch and grow to the place where I'm dreaming bigger. I'm dreaming big enough for the season of life I'm going into so that I can really pull some remarkable things to me. And so I started first with, I was going through, the finalization of my divorce at the time. So I was, my first time that I got the mandate to dream bigger. And so what made it complicated for me is I'd lost myself in the marriage. And so, you're with somebody for so many years, you know everything that they like, you know what they like to do, you know where they like to go. And I'm a servant by nature. I show up as a public servant. So one of the challenges that I had was I was forced to dream bigger while discovering who I was supposed to be now that I'm a divorced single mom with 3 kids. It was a bit of a rough patch, but it was good for me. And it was good for me because, if I'm already in the process of evolution and change and growth and renewal, may as well, hit it out of the park, right? Do more than one thing at a time because you're already in the thick of it. And so I got a notebook. I'm a huge fan of jotting things down because I just believe that there's power in the written word and how it can present itself once you give it permission to. And so I got a notebook, but I got the kind of notebook that you can't pull the pages out. It's bound. And so you can't rip the pages out. If you do, it's going to take a lot. So I got one of those so that I didn't have that problem of losing notes. And I challenged myself, write down 150 things that you want to do. And I did it. And I just wrote one thing after the other. But when I started it, just so you know, I had to start with small things because, again, I was in that process of self-discovery. So if you would have asked me, T, what do you like to do for fun? Well, I would have told you I like to go on dates with my husband. I like to go on family vacations with my kids and my husband. So what I like to do for fun, I had to rediscover that. And so making this dream list helped me to do that. And then to really activate it, I had to look at what other people were doing too, because I really didn't have a list of 150 things. And so I would study what other people like, what other people don't like, what other people are doing, cars, houses, things like that, cut out pictures and different things like that, just so that I could have something of a list to help, get me going in this direction. And then I started to think about, dreaming bigger in my entrepreneurial endeavors. It was in that season that I started to get my global mission, my global vision for the company. Before, it was just local stuff, going to different schools, going to churches, community centers, and just helping out where I can. In this time frame when I got the mandate to dream bigger, that's when I got the global vision for my organization. So we stopped being local and in me started being global. And so then my list, my 150 list, it started to change. Before it was like, I want to pay off my car, I want to get out of debt, I want to eat out, I want to travel. And it became, I want to, produce programs that function in the United States and in Africa. I want to meet and build relationships with the highest influencers in the land, and then making the list. I want to be as impactful or more impactful than people like Steve Jobs and Walt Disney. And so I started studying them and added that to my list of dreams and goals. And so the ability to see more came as a result of me dreaming more and wanting more and doing more globally, interiorly, which manifested exteriorly. So I started with that list of 150 things. And just being super transparent, it wasn't easy. It was not easy to come up with 150 things. I mean, I had gotten so desperate towards the end there. I had to say things like, I want, this kind of ice cream. I want this kind of bubble gum, because I wanted to complete the list for myself. But it was a bit of a challenge as I was learning to stretch and dreaming bigger. So, if I could give you, an action step to begin with, it would be that one. Get yourself something that you're going to reference on a regular basis. Don't hide it. In fact, don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. I said don't move. I'm getting something out of my bag. Yes, I probably should have had it out sooner, but I didn't. But this is my notebook. I just wanted to show you. Okay, so don't zoom in and look at all my stuff, but I am going to show you a list. So this is not the one that I did in 2014, 2015. This is my most recent one. I've had 3 of these that I've exhausted. So here's the list. And as you see, I'll put check marks next to things. I'll put dates next to things. And then I'll even expound on things. So once I make my list, then I build it out. And again, like I mentioned before, I'm a huge fan of just writing it down. Write it down. Write it down. Most people don't do that. But again, I'm not picky. I use Post-its and and simple things like that, just so I can get it down. But this is what I got. Can't pull the pages out of it. I'll put a link to it if you're interested in getting one for yourself. It's called a laboratory notebook, and that's what I do. I go into the lab, I go into the dream lab, and I build the life that I want to live. I build the life that I want my students to live in it. I build the life that I want my family to live, while I'm here and after I'm here. I build those things ahead of time. And that's a real strategy when you start thinking, beyond your current capabilities, and it presses you towards the bigger things, the bigger goals, the bigger dreams, the bigger potentials and possibilities, which I promise you, they're already in you. So start with, make yourself a list. Now, you don't have to do 150. I had one of my mentees do 300, and she's knocking these things out of the park left and right, and we're only halfway through the year. So I suggest that you start with a number that you can commit to, and make a list. And then once you make that list, look at the darn thing. Don't just make a list and then tuck it somewhere. That's why I got this. Make the list so that you can flip through the pages, look through your goals, look through your progress, and then add. Sometimes you'll achieve a thing, and then you just got to go back and say, man, I smashed that, which means I can do this bigger, I can do this better, or I can do this thing like this that I did like this. So you want to look at this too. Okay, so here's the other thing, quiet time. Most often, we're so busy and we're so distracted that we can't even carve out the time to do something like this. And if you don't take quiet time, even if it's just 10 minutes in the morning, to kind of be with your dreams, be with your goals, build a relationship so it becomes so real to you that it has no choice but to manifest itself for you. If you don't take that quiet time where you tune out all the noise, all the distractions, and be in your dreams, then it's a lot less likely to happen. Most people write it down once a year, like for New Year's, and they don't come back to it. Don't be that person. Have the quiet time consistently. That's number 2. Be consistent in your time with your dream building. Your dreams should turn into goals, which turns into the reality of your life. But that can't happen if you're not consistently building them, consistently visiting them, consistently talking to them, saying them. I got to the point where I would not say things like, I want to be a millionaire. I'd read this so much that I got to the point where I would say things like, I am. I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. Oh, that's me. Pause. And even, pardon me. So I got to the point where I spent so much time with this list and so much time with these things that I started to dictate that I am these things. I have these things. I'm doing these things, especially when I was getting out of debt. I couldn't tell you how many times I'm debt free. I'm debt free. I'm debt free. And I don't mean, say something until, it's crazy. I'm not saying be disillusioned. But I do say that because I was so in this, that it dictated my actions. So because I wanted to so desperately be debt free, and that was my dream and my goal, it changed the way I shopped. It changed the way I spent money. It changed some of the activities that I did that were frivolous and irresponsible. It also changed the way I invested. It changed the way I saved. It changed the way I paid things off. As soon as I made a purchase on a credit card, pay it off, baby. So it changed my habits, which changed my lifestyle, which ultimately made me become the thing that I was saying, which was the thing that I was reading, which was the thing that I wrote down, that I spent quiet time with, that I spent consistent time with over and over and over again. So I am telling you, this does have the potential to change your life. It does have the potential for you to become exactly what you say on your list, exactly what you want from your list. It does have the potential to do that if you have quiet time with it, no distractions, and you're consistently doing that. Okay, so the other thing is you have to deal with the things that scare you. So if there's fear connected to any of these goals, any of these dreams that you have, it stops you from being creative, which is what you're going to need to achieve them. So what you want to do is you want to deal with anything that gives you fear around it. So one of the fears for me was the fear of being broke, the fear of losing the money, the fear of not having enough. Until I dealt with I'm afraid to not have enough, I couldn't lose the creativity that caused me to have more than enough. So you actually have to address the fears, even if that simply means you write them down and you talk to somebody that's beat this thing that you're trying to beat. But if you don't deal with the fears, the creativity that you need cannot be loosed in your life for you to accomplish these dreams and goals. So again, if you can't identify it, get some help identifying it. But I promise you, once you start dreaming bigger, there is fear attached. There's always fear of flying. There's always fear of jumping off of a cliff and doing something remarkable and huge and magnificent and risk and adventure. There's always some fear involved in that. And the people that do take the risk, that do take the chance, that do take the leap, are the ones that confronted the fear and told themselves, okay, I'm gonna feel this thing, but this thing is not gonna stop me. And so that's number 3. You want to make sure that you deal with the fear so that your creativity to achieve can be loosened. And then I would also offer, I like to pray, I'm a praying woman, but if you have confessions or if you are also a prayer, be intentional about doing that for yourself, your family, the people around you, the people that you want to work with. Like, be intentional about offering words of health, healing, prosperity, transformation over these things. If you're not speaking words that produce over your goals, over your dreams, it's going to make it's like fertilizer. So do you want one thing to come to pass? Do you want 2 things to manifest? Or do you want like a whole harvest, a whole crop? Well, you got to fertilize it with your prayers, your affirmations, your positive confessions, things that cause things to produce. You want to speak producing words over your list, over your goals. Now listen to me. I know that sounds simple for me to say, but I promise you, it is the fertilizer that causes things to grow exponentially. You don't want to do something where you get one return. You want to do something that you get an orchard on, because if you have an orchard of dreams that are coming to pass, then you have the capacity to do for yourself, your family, and a whole lot of other people. So you want to water it with the word, water it with positive words, water it with prayer, water it so that it's watered and fertilizing and growing in exponential ways so that you really do have the capacity to be a world changer. I promise you it works. I've tried it. He sent me a note. I'll tell you how it's happened in my life. That's why I'm sharing all this stuff. The 4th thing I want you to, or consider it, technically it's the 5th thing. I'm looking at bullet points and not numbers so I don't miss anything. But the next thing is you got to allow yourself to be successful. Some people settle in what's less or what's doable or what's tolerable or what they can handle instead of allowing themselves to be successful. That's something that can only happen with you, through you, for you. So if you don't position yourself in agreement with yourself for these dreams and goals, like, do you know that there are people that are afraid to be famous? There are people that refuse to be rich. There are people that absolutely refuse to be rich. And here's how I know. They'll get something, they'll get money in, and they'll spend it all before the month's done. They don't want to be rich. It's like hot potato. They try to get rid of it. So I'm telling you, you have to allow yourself to be successful. And that means you need to put yourself in agreement with yourself. These are my dreams. These are my goals. This is who I am. And this is who I'm becoming. And this is what I will do this. It's not just some dusty list that you make in the beginning of the year and never do it. Like, we don't want that. That's weird. That's weird to me. How are you going to make a list and then not even allow yourself to have it? That's like, what's the word? That's masochistic. Like, why would you hurt yourself? That's crazy. Don't do that. Don't be one of those people. If you're going to make the list, at least allow yourself to have it. Allow yourself to agree that I should have this. This should be my life. I'm a hard worker. I'm a good doer. This should be me. So I'm saying you got to allow yourself to have something. I had to allow myself to shift. I had to allow myself to grow. And I had to allow myself to change. Once you do that, then you'll learn that there's great responsibility that comes along with this growth, this success. A lot of people don't want the responsibility of more. A lot of people want the more, but they don't want the responsibility of more. So once you allow yourself to be successful, just know there's responsibility attached to that. There truly is. And then once you just get used to the idea, like, again, for example's sake, I'm a building owner, a business owner, a founder, and I have a staff. I'm feeding families with what I do. That's tremendous responsibility. There's nothing like the fear and the pit in your stomach and wanting to vomit because you can't clear payroll. I'm telling you, there's nothing like that. It's one of the most challenging experiences I've ever had in my life, is having a staff and then not be able to pay them because the company has gone through what the company has gone through. And I've had to do some things to take care of my team. But I'm telling you, that's responsibility that comes with being a building owner, a business owner, and employees of an organization that crosses the country. You're going to have people that work for you. There's a responsibility attached to that. Their happiness, their growth, their success, their ability to develop careers in this company. That's a responsibility that I take so seriously. So as you start growing and achieving your dreams, just know you're going to have to be a little more responsible. And if you're one of those people that are like responsibility averse, like you kind of dodge it, well, you're probably going to have a hard time achieving some of the bigger dreams. So just know that that comes with it. Sorry, but it does come with it. Okay, one more thing. Document the process. If you don't document the process, it's going to make it really hard for you to see two things. One, how far you've come. You want to always have your victories, your successes tracked someplace. If not for other people to see and know, but definitely for you to see and know that your hard work is paying off, that your ability to be responsible at a greater level is paying off, that thing that you dreamed, that you took a step towards is actually happening. You want to write everything down, make videos, do the things that chronicle your successes, your growth, even your failures, so that you can learn from them, but document everything. Again, that's something that, a responsible person would do who is investing in the generations to come. If you document your path, your track, your record, what you're doing is investing in the next 2, 3, 4, 10 generations. So it shows that you have some forethought as it pertains to legacy, but it also shows that you are winning. So if you don't document your stats, then you don't know how you're winning, how well you're winning, and where you need to improve. So document. Lastly, you're going to have to do this dream big mandate again. So once you give yourself the mandate to dream bigger, I promise you, I thought I had it. I'm like, yeah, I'm out here dreaming big. I'm doing it. I told you, this is my third one. And the other two are filled up. And the first one is like that thick. So this is not my first book. This is my third mandate in 10 years to dream bigger. And so once you master your practice, once you master your dreaming big disciplines, you will have to do this again. You will have to do this again and again and again. And near as I can see, I'm probably going to be doing this my entire existence on this planet until I transition to heaven. So I just want you to get used to the idea that you don't really ever arrive. You're going to have to do this mandate again to stretch yourself even more, because you'll be at a greater place, and then you'll be able to do more, and you'll be able to grow more, and you'll be able to reach deep down into the potential that you have, and pull more amazing things out of it. So make sure that you prepare yourself to have another mandate every other year or every 3 years, as you're seeing that you're accomplishing your list quickly and you're checking things off. Don't wait until the whole list is checked before you build the next list. Keep growing, keep changing, keep developing, keep documenting, keep tracking, but don't quit. You're going to have to do this again. So my hope, always is that this helps somebody, anybody. I just want to make sure that what's taken me a lifetime to learn, I'm sharing it with people so that they don't have to take a lifetime to learn it. So as you're dreaming big and you're accomplishing your goals and you're starting your mandate to dream bigger, make sure you do a couple things for me. Number one, you got to like, you got to share, you got to subscribe to this stuff so that we can keep doing more of this stuff and reaching more people. Make sure that you leave some comments. If this is helping you, put something in the comments that's going to help us see that it's helping you, but also help other people, because a lot of people read our comments. And just know that I'm in this journey with you. I'm doing everything I know to do to reach you and reach people like you that really, really want to bring about change in their lives for the absolute better, that want to live the life that they dream about. I'm here for it. I'm all in it with you. So again, thank you for tuning in. This is Sweet Tea Time. I always have a sweet time sharing stuff with you. So make sure that you are actually taking the time to do these things and then share with me. That way I know that, number one, I'm in with you, but you're in with me, and we're really, really striving for the best, sweetest life ever together. I'll see you next time.